This story begins with a mermaid princess. She lives in a kingdom within the depths of the vast ocean. She has many friends who care for her dearly, and she in turn watches over them. One day, the princess notices one of her sea friends missing. Her friend is a species of fish called bonito, a favorite served in sushi houses. After learning he has been captured, the princess and her friends conclude he is probably dead and being prepared for sushi. They talk about how barbaric it is for humans to be eating fish, and that it is unfortunate they could not say goodbye to their dear friend. The princess is troubled she could not give her farewell to her good friend, and decides to take action. She returns to her home and prepares to visit the surface by putting on human clothing, and rushes off. She makes her way to the surface. As she leaps into the air, she magically transforms her fins into legs and lands gracefully on the ground, then immediately makes her way to a sushi house. There she immediately orders bonito sushi. Several dishes are presented before her. She looks across several tables and discovers several other sushi varieties. She reflects on the flesh of her deceased friends and gives a prayer over the many sea creatures served before her. Upon finishing her prayer, she gets up and proceeds to leave without touching any of her dishes. An annoying patron nearby notices she hasn't touched her food and makes a snide remark. She tries to ignore the rudeness until he adds the fish will not be at peace without being eaten. This gives her pause as the thought of her friends not being at peace disturbs her. She returns to her seat and with great hesitancy separates just a small piece and brings it to her mouth. As she places it into her mouth, she is overwhelmed with flavor. She enters into a state of total bliss. As she returns from her euphoria, she quickly proceeds to a bigger piece. Soon she is gorging herself of the entire meal, completely overwhelmed with the flavor. Every bite is a euphoric experience, and she can't help but continue to consume her friend. Tears begin to form from her eyes as she comes to a realization. She bursts into tears at her guilty pleasure and apologizes for how shockingly good her friend is to eat. As she finishes her meal, the annoying patron sitting next to her remarks at how quickly she finished. She ignores his comment, but is soon shocked as his dish arrives. At her utter disbelief, it is the head of her dear friend prepared in a soup dish. She is riddled with guilt as she quickly pays for her meal and exits the restaurant. She is overwhelmed with the realization of what she has just done. The next day she is back in the ocean. Her sea friends gather to meet her. When they gather before her, she suddenly can't help but envision them as sushi dishes. She is taken off guard at the sudden vision. As she regains her composure, her friends comment at her sudden disposition. She shrugs it off, reflecting on what just happened.